105. We the Force.
That's a great title. I like that.
He's debuting a new song, or did he already, this Friday, where he sent me the lyrics. And he said, James, there's a new song, it's going to be a new record. And the lyrics mention the world between worlds.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm James. That's Brock. And also with us tonight is Andrew. How you guys doing tonight?
Hey.
You know.
That's why I asked.
Jumping and jiving, and then you wheel again.
You guys are both coming over this weekend. We're going to have a barbecue. We're each going to have our own separate barbecues. You guys are bringing your own barbecues. We're going to
touch
barbecue.
each other's faces and inject each other with cleaner, whatever you call that.
Yeah, we're doing. I think they should make Lysol wipes, but you know those the Listerine strips for your tongue, but Lysol versions of that. Yeah. That's what they should. That's what they need to have.
I'm looking forward to the next episode of the podcast, Top 5 hand sanitizer brands.
Top 5.
Top handies. Like candies.
We don't have a top 5 for this week yet. That is a great idea. We should.
The Handy Awards. It just writes itself.
The chat is looking good tonight. We got Jedi Master Ray, Pauline, Rural Farm Boy, Rachel, Lauren. Heidi's here. I can't read. Rez. I think I saw Rez. Maybe I didn't. I can't read either. We should also let this. And Rebel Scum Podcast is in as well. So good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm holding a deck of cards, but I don't even know if we're doing trivia.
Well, I have something we can talk about.
Uh-oh.
You sent me this through text, but I've seen it a bunch of times on the internet. They have announced the so-called titles of the new episodes of Mandalorian.
Yes.
Now, is it real or fake, or what do we take of this? Did you see this, Andrew?
I did, yeah. And when James sent it to me, I asked, I was like, is this real? Because it's super early and that logo looks fake. And he just shrugged. And so, but if it's real, cool.
Yeah, I didn't know what to think. Because, this reminded me of, Stranger Things. They did that, when, talking about their new seasons, but just titles, and that doesn't really mean, maybe it means everything, maybe it means nothing. But did any of those titles stand out to you guys?
There was one called The Sorcerer.
Ah, yes.
I think it was number 6 or something. I was like, ooh, that could be a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And it could be literally, it could just be what do you call it? Like a red herring. There's an episode, I've been going through the Arrowverse, like I told you, and there's an episode of Arrow called The Magician. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to get to see Zatanna? Mm-hmm. But it's no, when the Dark Archer is in Ra's al Ghul's place, they nickname him The Magician because he's really fast. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it could be something along those lines. Wow, you took real good care of that baby, Mando. You're like a sorcerer. Don't cut the camera. I don't know, but I hope that's not the case.
I saw it. I thought it might be legit because it's being reported everywhere and shown. So I guess the original, so that artwork, I guess somebody just made, but the original tweet about came from @Villain Emre Kaya.
Who
is the person? I don't know. I have no idea. Twitter user Villain leaked the 8 episode titles, which you can see below. They previously leaked the second Birds of Prey trailer accurately. So this person has info for some stuff, apparently. Anyway.
Just Birds of Prey and Mandalorian. That's their only ground.
That's it. That's all. That's how you get started, though. So anyway, for those that don't know all of the titles, it's Chapter 1, The Search. Chapter 2, The Confrontation. Chapter 3, The Bounty. Chapter 4, The Republic. Chapter 5, The Loyalist. Chapter 6, The Sorcerer. Chapter 7, The Return. And Chapter 8, The Empire. So I'm looking at this, and they seem... First of all, they do seem Mandalorian-ish titles, which is not hard. Anybody could write them. It's just put "the" in front of a word.
Isn't that the same? I could be wrong, but wasn't that the same thing Seinfeld did? Every episode was the something. Isn't that their shtick?
Maybe Friends was the one. Friends was the one.
Yeah,
the one with was Friends.
Seinfeld did something. I had my Seinfeld DVDs out recently. I don't know.
I didn't know Seinfeld episodes had titles.
They do.
I didn't know. It was just, when you watch it on TV, the titles. They're never present on Seinfeld, right? So you're like, oh yeah, remember the one with Schindler's List?
I think they're similar to what Mandalorian, where it's the. I think the Soup Nazi one is called the Soup Nazi.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Yeah, the loyalist one kind of stands out to me. I don't know why. I think I just like that term. But
And it's chapter 5, halfway through the season.
yeah.
I feel like it's almost a sure bet that Ming-Na Wen's going to pop up in the bounty.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
See, well, I think we'll find out who that was at the end of that episode. Because, okay, so you said the confrontation. So what is that? Is that the confrontation of Moff Gideon and Din Djarin, or is that a different confrontation? But then what's the bounty? Is there a new bounty? Does he go back to Greef Karga and get a new bounty? Or is he the bounty and this season is about somebody trying to track him down?
I think that's the next logical step.
Well, this show defied logic. If you remember, you're like, it's going to be about this. Nope. No, it's not.
I think I want like Greef and Cara Dune to come back, but
they are. They are back.
They are back. But like, I want them to be important in the story. But I think like the idea of Mando, because we think the end of the episode is him and Baby Yoda going off somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for like the bounties, what, episode 3 or 2 or 3 or 4? Like for that early in the series to like go and then come back to like Navarro. I hope that's not the case, but perhaps he finds a new. I mean, he's a bounty. This is, I think, one thing we've forgotten. Like, the bounty hunters like are just everywhere. They don't all just go to one planet. Like, I'm sure they can pick up bounties on different planets. So perhaps it's.
Well, it was the guild that was there, right? Now the guild is the guild is literally just Cara Dune and Greef Karga now, right?
Yeah. So.
I think what this season should do that the first one didn't is shine a wider light on how the New Republic galaxy works.
Yeah.
It's very Star Wars to be like, here's just this one little corner of the world, and you have to kind of learn the lore through what's happening. We're not going to spell it out for you, and that's cool. That's perfect for season 1. But for season 2, I'd kind of like to see more of like a more hefty answer of what is this guild compared to the rest of it? Are like, how do they relate? Like, did the New Republic try to hunt them down? Mm-hmm. Where's the Imperial Remnant and all this? That's something that I think we need to get a broader picture of.
Yeah. But do you think that there is a New Republic yet? Like, it's settled in yet?
I think so. I mean, they got their ship and their fancy soldiers.
They do?
Yeah, that prison ship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And like the X-Wing pilots, aka the directors.
Director Squadron.
They were just like, yeah, someone's coming at us, let's blow them up. So they definitely, there is a power of like, these guys can do whatever they want sort of thing.
But are they like complete power, or are they just like, because, okay, I'm thinking about Aftermath, right? Which takes place around the same time as this. Brock, you haven't read it yet, right?
Yeah,
no. So that's where my head's at, Andrew, is Aftermath, where the New Republic really isn't a thing yet.
Yeah, it takes the whole trilogy to get it off the ground and get that, because the very end of book 3 is that signing. What's that called? The
Declaration of Independence.
Yep. That one. Yes, thank you. Alexander Hamilton was there,
and then Nicolas Cage steals it.
I stole it because I'm the only one who can.
And Lost Stars too.
So see that one, I don't know where. I think it's like 3 years after Jedi, and Mando is 5.5 now, I guess. I think if it's around the same time, if it's after Aftermath, which I think it is, I think you're safe in the like brand spanking New Republic. They can even call it that if they want. They can be like, look, as the new Chancellor of the brand spanking New Republic. And
Valorum
2.0, yeah. And if whatchamacallit, if Mando has to do a job, if somebody's like, okay, you want to do this for that kid, well, do this bounty for me and I'll hook you up with what you want. If that bounty is like a New Republic senator, that's perfect, because you forward the plot, you get Mando moving, but you get him to places where just going there, we learn stuff, we learn what's going on here. Even if it's Hosnian Prime, it's sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, see, Hosnian Prime, I would love to get more of in live action.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like in The Force Awakens, because when I first saw, I brought this up many a time, that when I first saw it, I was like, did they just blow up Coruscant? And then they're like, no, it's this Hosnian Prime thing. We don't have the balls to blow up Coruscant.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to see more Hosnian Prime. And I know there's a deleted scene of somebody on Hosnian Prime to give you some depth to that they got rid of because you don't need that. But I would love to just like Alderaan. We would all like to see more Alderaan, right? Like when Cara Dune's like, I'm from Alderaan, you're like, all right, cool. Like give us more to these things and let us see, bring us the pain. Bring us the pain. But it brings a little bit more emotion to these planets.
I always used to joke about how it's like, Alderaan gets blown up and we never see it. So it's like, whatever. But it's still a whole lot sadder to me than Kijimi, which we spent a ton more time on. Because when Kijimi got blown up, I was like, I don't care.
Well, also by the time Kijimi got blown up, we've seen 1,000 planets get blown up, and it's like, okay, we get it. And also, nobody that you care about is gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, yeah. But by the time they got Kijimi, you're like, yeah, we know.
On this, on the adverse of this topic, like I was thinking about it, I think yesterday. Wouldn't The Mandalorian be a good place to see the beginning of the First Order? And I think, like, prior to the Rise of Skywalker, quite often we talked about, like, oh, wouldn't it be really cool? I think in Bloodlines, you get to see Leia deal with, like, a hidden cell of the First Order, or however they spun it. So, like, I've always been like, oh, how did the First Order come about? Why do they look like this? And now we have this answer that kind of is weird. I suppose I would like a little bit more backstory on the First Order, maybe with Palpatine involved, but like, do you think we'll see? Maybe you could still talk about the First Order and still not talk about Palpatine in a sense, because if it's Mandalorian as an outsider coming in, like, and maybe at the very end of the series you get a little bit of a hint because it's Mandalorian gets into unexpected places, but like, I don't know. What do you think? Do we need to know more about the First Order? Has Rise of Skywalker coming out on Disney Plus May 4th?
Monday!
Do you think the Rise of Skywalker has kind of ruined the First Order origin for you? I don't know.
It's weird. That's a good point. I have to go through the dictionary again, the visual dictionary, and remind myself what it said about them, because as far as I remember, like everything was all like, ooh, the First Order is all mysterious.
Yeah.
And then after this movie, it was like Palpatine had a Sith fleet that's its own thing, and the origin of the First Order is still a question mark that they didn't bother.
Well, it was Palpatine. But I thought Rise of Skywalker just lined up exactly with those Aftermath books, where there was something out in the Outer Rim, or the whatever, which was Exegol. It ended up being Exegol, was the Emperor, and his Sith fleet, which is all hinted at there. And then he was the one that started the First Order to be ready for when it all came out. That's what I thought.
That makes sense.
I'm over the First Order. They should like. I think I was over the First Order before the Force Awakens. I think we've seen it enough. I think the way the Mandalorians using stormtroopers is how I'm fine with handling stormtroopers from now on. That's that they're not actually stormtroopers. But to your point, Brock, I do think it's beneficial for them to, because I read the Aftermath books, and that's what I took from the Aftermath books. But you haven't read the Aftermath books,
no.
So I think fleshing something out in a live action show where people are actually going to watch it and pay attention to it and understand it, 100% they should use this opportunity to do that.
It's actually kind of wild to think that the show Resistance probably has the most information on the First Order, even in comparison to the movies. You know what I mean? We see the big bads, but the inner workings of it you see, especially in season 2. So it's sort of, it's to a point where I think I said this to you, Andrew. It's like, these guys are just like the Colossus is just basically a place where people live and gas up their starfighters when they go by. And then it becomes important because of the fight between the Resistance and the First Order. But like, It's like, why all of a sudden does the First Order just have full sway? Like you're surrounded by pirates and hotshot pilots. Why does it? I mean, I get it for plot, but you know what I mean. Like I think that's what that show engaged me on. Like, who are the First Order and why is no one stopping them? So,
yeah, it's so strange. Whenever they would occupy a place, even like Batu in some of the books, it's like, okay,
yeah,
how much weight do you have that you can throw it around like this? Like,
yeah,
the New Republic is still the king of the mountain. So you're walking in there, you're all big, you're like, hey, what's up, Batu? Pay me protection money. And it's like, you're basically just a really well-armed mafia at this point.
Yeah.
And Snoke walking around in a bathrobe did not do anything to change my opinion on that.
No, I think the problem stems from what was brought up a few times, where there was no why brought up. It was like, well, we need the Emperor, we need the Empire. Why? Because that's Star Wars, and they're like, it's the First Order, and you're like, okay, sure, and then you go with it because it's like you just said, right? It's Star Wars, and you're just like, plot, sure, we need it. But even my dad's like, what? They couldn't come up with something else. Right. There was no reason for it. It was just because that's what Star Wars is, and they did it. And like I said, you know, the Aftermath books kind of told us that, but it's still never really. I mean, I haven't read the Aftermath books in a while, so maybe I just made that stuff up that I said. But that was what I always kind of thought happened. And then when I watched the movie, I was like, okay, this is what I read. But yeah, it just seems like they're just there, and there's no reason. Like even in Force Awakens, they blow up Hosnian Prime, which we really don't know anything about Hosnian Prime when they blow it up, right? They're like, we're gonna blow up Hosnian Prime, but they didn't even say that, so I thought it was Coruscant. And the reason they do that is so that there's no New Republic anymore, because they just wipe out the New Republic, and then they're kind of the big. But you don't really. I never found that you got that at all. And then The Last Jedi is such a small movie that you're like, well, I don't know. There's 14 bad guys and there's 15. I don't know what's happening. Like they never really take the time to tell you anything. And then in The Rise of Skywalker, they're like, there's there's red ones. We're good. And they kind of like it's the laziest part of the sequel trilogy is just like yeah. They're back. It's the Emperor.
It's like then the true villains of like the sequel Star Wars movies almost seems to be the director writers, where it's just like, why are you doing this to us?
It's like terrible. Instead of trying to come up with an idea of like a cool story you could tell in this new galaxy that was created at the end of Jedi, instead it was like, how can we reset the galaxy so it's as close as possible to the way it was at the beginning of A New Hope?
Which actually asks a different question. Was The Force Awakens meant to be a sequel to Return of the Jedi or a reboot of Return of the Jedi? That's the question. And then somehow they went too far down this rabbit hole to actually stick with it. I think it's a reboot. I think they were like, let's reset
to A New Hope and a reboot to Star Wars.
Yeah, but I think they did it in a way for them to be like, let's just redo everything. Because it felt like with Kylo, they're like, we're going to tell the Anakin story better. Like it felt like they were just going to like do it. And I was like, fine. But like, that's the question though. What actually is that movie? And aside from entertaining,
it is hella entertaining. It is hella entertaining. I'm going to drop a theory about this Mandalorian thing. And you guys tell me the odds of how crazy I am. Episode 8, The Empire. Okay. What if that is referring to the beginnings of a new Mandalorian empire?
That's interesting.
Nothing to do with CVP and stormtroopers.
I mean, I've been talking about it quite a bit. Like, I think I said to you guys after finishing Fallen Order, it's like, wouldn't it be cool if, like, in the future, the new regimes are possibly a new type of Jedi and this rebuilt Mandalorian empire? Because I feel like they are going all in on fleshing out who the Mandalorians are and why they do what they do. So, I mean, we're watching it on Clone Wars. James, have you watched these episodes yet? I'm not going to talk about. I'm just asking. Just checking in.
I'm just going to sit silently.
There is a Solo reference in this episode.
Yeah. Yes, I know. Dryden Voss is in it. I know, yeah.
Like, yeah, but like they're putting all this, and then the Mandalorian inevitably, like we're bringing somewhat of like Death Watch and then Black Saber or Dark Saber into like live action. Why are they putting all this work on Mandalorian? I think I agree. I think maybe not this season. I don't know, but I think this is setting up for like if they do something like 100 years into the future, which I think is a very wise move.
Mm-hmm.
That they can. Now there's Mandalorians, and they have a presence in the galaxy for once, besides being like mercenaries.
I think that's a good point, Brock. I think that's the best way to do a sequel, or dare I say a 10 at this point, is just jump in the future. You can start fresh with whatever story you want to tell. You're not bogged down by anything, but you can still do what we've been taking delight in, exactly what you're talking about. You can still cherry pick all this cool stuff from all these different worlds, have the Colossus be in it, have a Malachor be a planet in it, just like pick and choose. It's like a buffet at this point. That's how they can really have fun with it and keep telling new stories and have it still be called episode 10 if you want.
I wouldn't do episode 10. I would go to like 21. Save yourself those 11 movies. Because it's funny, but then you're far enough along, then it could be whenever you want, and you give yourself enough time to tell as many in the middle as you want. So just like if you separate enough, but it's still an episode, you're like, oh, okay, we're back to this crap. Awesome. Like no one will care. No one cares. When I was a kid watching Empire Strikes Back, do you think I knew it was episode 5? Do you think I knew that? No, it was Empire Strikes Back, right? It was. I don't know. Return of the Jedi wasn't.
Get rid of the numbers, because
I think they're doing that.
Thing. Like we're making this dumb. We're making it. When you put numbers in a movie, it's like you expect the viewers to be stupid, and I think the viewers have gotten used to being stupid. So like Fantastic Four, Fast and the Furious. I got my F screwed up. Yeah, put numbers on them. Those movies are dumb. Like, they're so dumb they become good. You know what? Or John Wick can go to like 20 movies, whatever. That's fine. But like, it's rewarding to the viewer that if they're watching a movie and then all of a sudden they realize, oh, this links in some way to it. I know they're going to continue to call these things Star Wars. That's whatever. It's a franchise. I get it. But if you all of a sudden realize that like this movie that was like, wow, that was really good. And now I realize this links to that. That's fantastic. That's rewarding to the viewer. I don't know. And just because it has Star Wars in front of it, you know what? Like, get rid of the Star Wars title. Call it something. Because, we call New Hope Star Wars because that's what it was called. But, like, we need to get back to calling them by their actual titles. So, like, if the movie, it doesn't matter if it's a franchise or these characters are in it. The movie has to be good because it's good. You know what I mean? So, so I don't know. Get rid of that.
I think you're making Andrew mad.
Doesn't matter. I mean, they're never gonna take the Star Wars out of the marquee, right? Like it's just
because it is. That's actually something that's fascinating. Is if it's not called Star Wars, is it still Star Wars? You know what? Actually, I was listening to. So I read the Bob Iger book, obviously, and I've been listening. Erin actually was listening to some Bob Iger podcasts, and she put on one by Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh God!
You might know her. She is the #1 podcaster. I had no idea she had a podcast, but she does. It's called Godo.
Does she do her British accent in it?
She does a British accent. I know, but anyway, she was interviewing Bob Iger. I don't know if Aaron's ever listened to this podcast or it was just because it was Iger, but they were talking to Bob Iger, and he goes, when I became the head of Disney, he's like, I had goals, and he goes, there was this goal and that, and he refers to Pixar, refers to Marvel, but never once does he say Lucasfilm. Never once he says Star Wars. Every single time. He doesn't care about Indiana Jones. I'll bet you because it's still Paramount has to distribute that stuff. He doesn't care about he doesn't care about Red Tails or the singing cartoon or Labyrinth or whatever. He cares about Star Wars, and it's all Star Wars. And so this is a question, Brock, to your point, is because I just said that and thinking about it. could they do what Marvel's doing and just be like Star Wars, and now they have that new Star Wars intro that's in front of the Mandalorian, and instead of calling it Rogue 2 a Star Wars story, they're just like, it's Rogue 2, and then at the beginning of the movie the Star Wars graphic shows up.
Yeah.
I can see a world where that, I don't know. See, I'm old fashioned. I'm an old fuddy-duddy. I like, my idea of a perfect sequel title is Friday the 13th Part 8 in Roman numerals, Jason Takes Manhattan. To me, that's like, you're never going to get a sequel title that just sounds so perfect. So the idea of them taking away Star Wars episode blank, the idea of them taking that away kind of hurts me a little bit, especially because sequel titles are just, titles in general are very short and to the point now. And that's kind of against the grain of what Star Wars does. So, like, we already got a movie just called Solo, but the idea of walking into a movie theater and there's literally just a movie called Jedi doesn't, I don't know, it sounds too commercial.
Yeah, but first of all, we don't even know if movie theaters are going to be a thing anymore. But isn't commercial what they need to sell? This still all comes down to money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they'll make their money. But
not if people feel like, well, I'm getting the best Star Wars on Disney Plus. Why am I going to go to the theater to watch a movie that everybody's going to hate?
Well, even like Indiana Jones. Imagine if the next movie is called Indiana Jones: Redemption. It's like, that's a Hollywood title. That's not a Indiana Jones title.
Yeah, no, I just, I don't know. I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like, you can call it Star Wars. You can call it Star Wars: A New Hope. You can call it Episode 4. Like, it's probably one of the only movies that's been retitled, like 2 to 3 times. Like, I don't think though the episode stuff didn't really come into the prequels. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Did you guys know it was called A New Hope before 1997? I did not.
My VHS said it, so yeah.
My VHS, I think, was cut off before that. It was on TV. No. Yeah, I did not know it was called A New Hope until it wasn't exactly 97. It was before I saw it in the theater. Yeah, but I had no idea it was A New Hope as a kid. It was Star Wars when I was growing up. There was Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, but ultimately all 3 of them were just Star Wars. And you just were like, let's watch Star Wars, not this one. All right. I like them all. I don't care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, it's like, it's the same as like his Dark Materials is like that. Game of Thrones is like that. Like it's not Game of Thrones. That's just the name of the first book. The series is called A Song of Fire, Ice and Fire and Ice.
That TV show would not have been a hit if it was called that.
No, of course not. And then like his Dark Materials, the first book was The Golden Compass, which was a movie.
Mm-hmm. Is that based on the same thing?
Yeah.
No, they seem completely different.
It's a little different in the TV show because that series, I read that book series. It goes off into like some scatological religious stuff. You're like, what the?
I thought it was
stop talking polar bears.
Yeah. It starts like this cheerful, like Roald Dahl kind of thing with talking animals, and then by the end, it's like, so Satan walked through the door, and you're like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I think though, I totally agree that like they should get rid of the numbering at least. Call it Star Wars ... Brock's Big Vacation.
I want to know what the chat thinks about getting rid of the numbers in Star Wars. Is anyone opposed to it, and we think that should be the direction they go in? I'm with you. Like, I like the numbers, but I'm also don't give a damn. When I go to see Rogue One, a Star Wars story, aside from the font being terrible, nothing matters to me when I'm watching that movie other than Saw Gerrera's hair. He didn't have hair in the trailers. Now he does. Great. But like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing matters. Once the movie starts, it starts. So, but I do like them. Now, if it's not part of the same saga, maybe they stop the numbers.
maybe, or start back at 1. I don't know. That's a road
Can
we've
you start
traveled a
at
lot
1
before.
though? Like then you just get confused. I think that's why Mandalorian's called Chapter.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you, Andrew. I might know your answer, but Brock, if they release the Mandalorian in Steelbook, whole season, would you buy it?
No. Those days are done. It's like I even look at my Blu-rays and I'm like, why do I have all
Would you
these?
buy it on digital?
Oh, yeah. Like, if like, what's the incentive of buying it on digital? Just having it
Just
at
having it at your disposal as opposed to Disney Plus, which may
That's,
get rid of it. I don't think they would, but you know.
that's not really an argument because it's like, well, if I can look at something on my phone that I've downloaded, there's no difference between streaming it. You know what I mean? Like, I guess
No, that's why I'm asking. Like, would you, even though you have it on Disney Plus, would you still purchase it?
No, because I'm paying for that
Yes.
service.
No, that's fair.
But that being said, it's sort of like like I said, I've been looking at my DVDs and Blu-rays. I'm like, why do I have this? But there are certain things I won't get rid of. Like, I'll always keep these Star Wars. But
Rugrats go to Paris. Yeah,
I haven't bought a Star Wars Blu-ray since Force Awakens.
Yeah,
I
me
bought them
neither.
all digitally, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
yeah. Steelbook Force Awakens was the last Blu-ray I think I ever got. Ever, I think. What about you, Andrew? Mandalorian Steelbook tomorrow. Would you buy it?
Does it have to be a steel book?
No, I'm just
not
using a
fan of
Steelbook
those.
as an example. Everyone loves
Okay.
Steelbooks. I'm just
Okay. Yeah, I don't. I've never liked steel books. I don't know what it is. Oh yeah, physically, I would totally buy a nice box set because I'm a collector. I like those. I like having a nice looking shelf. I like. I'm like this. I'm a Luddite. I like not having to rely on internet to get my entertainment.
You just hit the download button, Andrew. You hit the download button.
But then there's a matter of my memory is gone or whatever. I'd rather just have the physical thing there and use that. But it would have to, like, because we're getting this new documentary now. That shit things up because normally I'd be like, well, I want to see the special features. Well, we're getting that too on streaming. So now it's like,
Yeah.
what are they offering me? And I don't know. The only thing I can think of is like maybe like a 2-disc thing where it's like 4 episodes per disc, but they've all been you can watch them together as one, so you don't have to be like, because they're so short, so you don't have to be like, okay, next episode. You can just be like, here's an hour and a half of just straight Mandalorian, and then there you go. I don't know, stuff like that. Something to make it worth the purchase besides just a nice box.
yeah.
I don't know if I would or not, to be honest, because like you just said, I have it on Disney Plus. I don't think it's going to ever go anywhere on Disney Plus, and I have, Andrew, downloaded the episodes that I know I'm going to watch over and over and over and over again on my iPad.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I would buy it or not. But that being said, the more I've watched it so much, and for me, it might be my favorite Star Wars. I have no idea.
Nice.
It's recency bias. I don't know, but I watched it a million times, and like, you know how I am with Attack of the Clones. That's the one that I put on, and now I'm like, Attack of the Clones, nah, or Phantom Menace. And I'm like, you know what? That egg episode of The Mandalorian, and I'll put that's my favorite. That is my. The next episode, the Deborah Chow, first ever Deborah Chow, is phenomenal. It's probably the best. But the egg episode is my personal favorite. There's just something about it. I think it's the simplicity of it. We talked about it, Brock, with like that the chase scene. Just the 60s Batman, the Indiana Jones reference, all of that. It's just, there's something about that episode that just it really speaks to me, and I love it. And then the payoff of the egg is whatever, but then I have a Cadbury cream egg now, and I'm like, I get it.
I think that episode, I could be wrong, but I think that one could be the most Muppet heavy of the series, which reminds me the most of being a kid.
Yeah, maybe. There's like no talking in it.
Yeah.
Like it's like literally silent. The thing that I love about the episode, though, aside from like the chase, is the Baby Yoda. and I'm going to call him Baby Yoda. The Baby Yoda Mandalorian dynamic, that is when it's established. And I think they did, for the whole series, a phenomenal job. In that Mudhorn sequence, just such a great job where you're like, okay, these two people, these two aliens care about each other to some degree. And we might not understand it, and they might not understand it yet, but there's a connection there, and they both respect and care about each other. And they did it in the second episode towards the end of no talking. So for me, I think it's just a really well-made episode.
You said it was Iger who made it known that child has a name, official name.
Yeah, I think a few people have, but Iger did say that it has an actual name. Yeah.
Mm. I don't know if I want to know what it is.
Yeah, that's another thing. Is does that take away from the mystique of the child?
Yeah,
We may never
whatever
know.
that name ends up being, it's not going to live up to.
That's the problem. They're in a tough spot with that one, I think.
Mm.
You know what the Mandalorian has tapped into? It says tapped into what the original series did, and or specifically, maybe more Empire than New Hope, but Star Wars the movie, even though it has a conclusion, and I think maybe in Empire it's a little bit better of an example, but those movies put you in this thing, give you a story that you can understand and follow, but then also it could be like, who's this? What's that? How do Han and Lando know each other? Or I don't know what's another thing in Empire. Okay, so Vader is his father. Spoilers.
What?
Well, then Obi-Wan lying was it asks all these. I think that's what Favreau figured out. It's give them a story that makes sense and flows all the way through, but then they're like, well, what is Baby Yoda's actual name? What's the story? And that's why I keep saying, don't tell us anything. Just keep making these fucking. Sorry, excuse my language.
That's the thing, though, is his name's not important to anything.
Exactly, but it's still, you know what I mean? It's.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone actually want to know his name?
No.
Serious question.
I'm sure if you were to poll people, I would say 98% of people, if they had to choose, would rather learn the species than the actual kid's name.
Yeah, good point. Same thing though. That's a name and a species are basically this. You're defining a character.
Yeah.
Do I want to call Mando Din Djarin? No, that's his name now. I'm I'm gonna keep calling him Mando. That's the thing. I think. I'm very curious to see if people just refer to him as Mando going forward. This is what we were talking about with the titles. It's it's not, episode 4, Star Wars, A New Hope. It's A New Hope, or ANH, Empire Strikes Back. It's Empire.
I think they're going to refer to him as Mando because I think Din Djarin is a formality in the show where he needs to have a name, and he needs to have the name because of Moff Gideon. And no one can know his name because you need that moment with Moff Gideon. And I just think that's why it's there. And he'll just be Mando. I hope they don't do what they do in a lot of shows where it's as soon as you find the secret, it's out. And you're like, okay, well, it's like when you find out the killer in a movie and then the killer's a character after, and you're like, well, I don't stop caring about the killer now. He's not interesting.
Yeah.
It's no, it was way more interesting when I didn't know who the killer was. Now I don't care. Great, your story is ridiculous. Yeah. I hope Mando is just, they ignore it. Well, first of all, I hope there's no talking, but because apparently the episode I liked had none. But Baby Yoda and Mando aren't going to have a conversation, so yeah, he's Mando.
Yeah. No, and that proves the point I'm trying to make. It's there has to be some sort of mystery so that you're ooh, maybe I'll watch more, right? Or maybe I'll read a book or whatever. I mean, I think that is the whole novelty of Star Wars, and this new regime. I won't say Disney. Even Clone Wars. I think Filoni's done an amazing job. But now I know, James, you haven't watched these 2 last episodes. The fact that we're getting this kind of storytelling and we have 2 more episodes, and I'm it kind of makes me mad. I don't know what you think, Andrew, but to get to this level of storytelling now after how many years of this show existing, it's I'm mad. No, make more episodes now. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they're trying to go out with a bang, but it's almost like they're shooting themselves in the foot because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, look how good this is. I think that it's in their best interests to end it now. I
Yeah,
think everything that has existed up until this point should end now. And I think a lot of the future really hinged on two things. It hinged on how well they pulled off Mandalorian, which great, they're batting 1,000, and how well they end up pulling off the High Republic.
yeah.
If that can succeed too, then damn, that's a sexy future we've got to look forward to.
This is why you have to stay inside. So that the virus will go away and we can get back to work.
I just want Sam Raimi to make Doctor Strange too.
And not about back to work. I mean, just back to work, getting the Star Wars universe keep going. You know what I mean? Like, I guess Mandalorian's not going to be really preempted that much, but yeah, like it's like there's so many possibilities in the future. It's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And to think most of these new possibilities have nothing to do with the films.
The Obi-Wan series is going to be great for bridging that gap. It's almost like the last sort of trickle of the film into this new soup that is the future.
Yeah. What do you think, James?
I was in the chat. I don't know what you guys said.
Yeah, I figured.
Baby Yoda is playing dumb, just like Master Yoda. When he first met Luke, Baby Yoda understands and knows more than he is letting on. This is Hawk's holocron. What do you guys think about that?
I don't hate that.
He actually does have the intelligence of the 50-year-old.
He doesn't sound like that can. He actually has a can of baby sounds just to piss Brock off.
Canned baby sounds like that. Like, I've heard that noise before on commercials.
Lauren says the last two Clone Wars episodes proves that we need a new Star Wars animated theatrical movie.
Ooh, theatrical.
The problem with the Clone Wars theatrical movie that we got was it wasn't a movie. It was 3 or 4 episodes that Lucas was like, you should put that in the theater. People will pay. That's the problem.
But this is something I said to Andrew a week ago on our Monday night live stream, that like the opening of episode 9 is like, that's what that movie should have been like, and it's very similar. Just gotta watch the episodes. Stop the stream. Just go spend 40 minutes watching these shows.
I don't know what you're getting. This has nothing to do with watching those episodes. This is a point about an animated movie. I'm going to watch those episodes. I promise you, by the time we record episode 167, I will have seen those 2 episodes.
But anyways,
we're not recording for another year.
I think though, this season could have been a movie, because it's a full, like, whatever, you can make it those 4 episodes just smushed together. But I think it should have been, because like the Bad Batch and Echo's like storyline is cool, but like doesn't really have anything to do with anything now. So it's sort of like, thanks.
Yeah, I think exactly cool is exactly the best way to sum those up. Yeah.
It just reminds me of Rebels, when we got that trailer and we're like, "What, Maul's coming, crossblade lightsaber," and it was like the last 2 episodes of the season. Remember?
Oh yeah.
The season was fine, but the trailer promised us, and we got it, but it was at the very, very end. I think Star Wars needs to embrace animation. The problem though that I think is just when it's all canon and people like, because people won't watch animated movies the way they'll watch live action. No, Lauren, I haven't watched live action stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, they won't take it as seriously. Also, there's a lot of issues that go into animation for the older demographic. So I think they need to find a story that fits, that you can watch, that you could be like, it ties in, but it doesn't really tie in. Do you know what I mean? Where it's not, it doesn't have any consequence to my parents who are not going to watch an animated Star Wars film. It's not going to be episode 10 is not going to be animated, is what I'm saying.
No, for sure. Like, if something starts, sorry, Andrew, I feel like I keep talking over you. Like, I don't disagree with you because there is still the demographic of the boomers, our parents. Like they don't necessarily want to watch that. I can't even tell you if my father's ever watched a Pixar film, but in our demographic of 30 to 40-year-olds and going forward, like I think there is a place in most of our hearts for Pixar because of what they've created. And like it's dumbfounding how good they are at making these films. Like maybe you don't like all of them, but there's like at least one that like speaks to you in some way. So I think in like 20 years, I think that concept will change. But yeah, I agree with you. It's like I think the animation still has to stick to like a TV, but now we have Disney Plus, so making a movie for animation that can go there is totally doable.
Yeah, true. What I like so much about Rebels, and even more so with Clone Wars, is how big its scope is in terms of the stories it's telling. Like with Clone Wars, there's like a box of chocolates, man. It was great. It's like this week we got Wookiees. Next week, Mandalorians. Week 3, who knows? But here's Cad Bane.
Yeah.
And that grab bag feeling made Clone Wars so cool and so different. And I think that if you were to, you can make a great 95-minute animated movie and put it in theaters, but those 95 minutes pale in comparison to 5 seasons of now we're going to talk about this, now we're going to be over here. You have more room to tell stories in the animation world like that, in the TV rather. Sorry, I think that you're to have this idea for a cartoon and then be like, well, let's put it in the theaters because it's cool. You're actually doing it a disservice because you're giving it less room to breathe.
I told the chat if we get 15 likes, I will watch the 2 episodes tonight. We're at 14. We went up. I didn't like this. I might go. Well, if I get the 15 likes, I will talk about it on tomorrow's. We're not doing tomorrow's lunch time. Wednesday's lunchtime. How's that?
No, I'm just bugging you, but you definitely need to watch.
I want to watch. I just look. I'm very busy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already. It's at 15 likes. There we go. All right, let's wrap this up with 3 trivia questions. Also, 8:35 2Med2. Live, right? You're gonna be live 8:35. Check that channel out. Check out Michael's channel, and on Facebook in 7 minutes. He's live right now, but you can check out Din. Din is doing a live performance tonight at 8 p.m. Also, he should be wrapped up by 8:35, so you could go from us to Din to Michael and enjoy a night of Star Wars and music and isolation.
And that's Din, the musician, not Din, the bounty hunter.
Yeah, well. Disney Plus be available on Mars. Andrew will have to let us know. If you haven't checked that out there, check it out.
Look, my girlfriend's there. Quit rubbing it in. Go ask her. Okay, I didn't get to go.
Spoiler. 8:35 2Med2, and then Din. Before that. Sorry. Before, not that. Here we go. First question. What species is also referred to as a snow lizard? A Yamak, a Tauntaun, a Wampa, a Mynock.
I don't know what a Yannick is, but I want to know.
A Yannick, a Tauntaun, a Wampa, or a Mynock, which of these is referred to as a snow lizard?
I'm going to go with Tauntaun.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want to say Mynock, but then we've only seen them to my knowledge, inside of that worm, the meteor worm.
Yeah. They're more like parasites than anything else.
Yeah, that's true. I have my stuffed Tauntaun right here.
You have a stuffed one?
Well, like
Yeah, he does.
stuffed boy.
Does it smell slightly better on the outside?
There's so many things behind.
We have a rural Jedi Master Rey, a Pauline, and Lauren are saying Tauntaun. Brock, you're also saying Tauntaun.
Yeah.
Rachel saying Tauntaun. Rural saying no, Brock.
Does it look like a lizard? I don't know.
It looks like I want to hug it, is what it looks like.
It used to make noise.
I remember when that made noise.
Yeah. Damn. This is cool. Anyways.
Where'd you get that?
It's a little place called HMV. Ever heard of it?
Oh.
That doesn't exist anymore.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Rip. Andrew, do you have any idea what the answer could be?
Yeah, it's a tauntaun. But Chris Trevis, if you're watching, draw me a Yannick.
Yeah, what is a Yannick? It sounds like a yak.
The answer is a tauntaun.
Sure.
The answer
So it's
is
like a lizard underneath that frame.
a yammick is an Arabic word. So, I guess
You
I'll have
gotta
to
type in that word plus Star Wars.
Yeah, you definitely have to.
On Solo.
Oh, it's in is it what they ride on Solo?
I thought those were.
You know the poster? No, the poster that they never. Yamask. Yamask? I have no idea. And it's not showing up. Rural, help me out. I have to call a friend. Anyway,
Cardinal Games just made that up.
yeah, probably. Next question. I'll read this while Rural figures out the answer. What creature anchors itself deep into caverns with tendrils and digests the rock and stones surrounding it? This one's a good one. What creature anchors itself deep into caverns with tendrils and digests the rock and stones surrounding it? A Minoc, a dragon snake, a Duracrete slug, a giant space slug.
I was hoping this would be Minoc because I was like, oh, I just talked about that.
There's a monster that they talk about in one of the older visual dictionaries. I don't know if you guys remember it, but it lives on Coruscant, and it's like this little parasite thing, kind of like a tapeworm, but not in a person's body, in like mechanical things.
Mm.
And the way they described it was so frightening because they're saying like, you know, people in Coruscant would be lying in bed, they'd be asleep in their beds, and this thing would kind of like come out of like the wiring on the walls and just like slither into people's ears and stuff like that. Oh, it was weird. I wonder if this is the same thing.
I'm gonna go with Space Worm because I don't think they're that clever. I still don't think.
Wait, space worm? You mean giant space slug?
Yeah, the fourth one.
And I'll say C.
You're gonna say a Duracrete slug?
Yeah, because I recognize that name.
We have space snake from Rachel, Pudu, Duracrete slug from Rural, slug from Dale, giant space slug from Lauren, I'm lost from Rachel. Pauline says D, a giant space slug, slithery sneam.
I was surprised that Sarlacc wasn't in that list.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It kind of sounds like a Sarlacc.
wrong movie, I guess. Hoth. So,
Mhm.
the answer is D, a giant space slug.
Oh, well done.
18 likes, 21 views. I should probably stop this and watch it right now, the way things are going. All right, final question for the day. Thank you so much for watching and all that stuff. I'm going to put a link to Din's Facebook. You can check him out there. And don't forget, Two-Med 2 at 8:35 p.m. He has a lot of cool guests lined up. None of them are Andrew Fantasia, which because he's still trying to get to Mars.
Yeah.
Final question. How long can space slugs grow? How long can space slugs grow?
Jeez, card, get over it.
Is that actually on the card?
This is the last question. How long can space slugs grow? Up to 900 meters, up to 500 meters, up to 2,000 meters, up to 100 meters. And also, guys, we no live chat tomorrow at lunchtime. We're taking tomorrow off, but we'll be back maybe Wednesday might be a problem, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, James is going to be busy watching Clone Wars. I'm saying 500
I
meters.
watch it tonight.
It's only
How
40
long?
minutes.
How long? That's a long time. How long can slugs grow? Up to 900 meters, up to 500 meters, up to 2,000 meters, up to 100 meters.
Actually, I'm changing my answer. 900. Lock it in.
Yeah,
We got Dale is saying 500. Lauren's saying 900. Brock.
I'm gonna go 900 as well because 100 meters is not that long. It's long, but it's not that long.
No. 550 meters says rural. 500 says res. B says Pauline, which is 5. Tomorrow lunchtime art for 2. Okay, so Michael will take over our lunchtime tomorrow.
Sweet.
Rebel Scum Family is the correct answer. Rachel, guess. Yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. The answer is A, up to 900 meters.
It's going 9,000.
Din's chair is rocking. Is he playing anything? I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
That's
you know
our
what?
yeah.
It's 45 minutes of your life, James, but it'll feel like 2 hours because, like, the episodes, as much as they're short, they're like, wow.
Yeah, in a good way, it'll feel like 2 hours. Like,
Yeah.
I will say this to you: it probably would be better if you waited for all 4 to be ready and just watched it all the way through.
That's a good point.
Hold on. I'm telling Din to say hi. We're live on YouTube.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, cool.
Hold on.
Avro Arrow.
Oh, he's showing a video. This is not gonna. It's not gonna work. He's giving he's explaining why his band name is F105.
Cool.
Yeah, that doesn't work for audio so much. It's a visual presentation. So I sent the link for that. You can watch that over there right now. He'll be doing that for about a half hour. And then you go head over to Michael's channel, 2Med2, for some more live Star Wars talk. I have to go and watch Clone Wars right now. So I'm going to go do that, have some dinner, watch some Clone Wars. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Any last words from you guys, Andrew?
Enjoy it.
I meant for the chat. Brock?
I thought I was gonna say something. I don't know. Yeah. Why don't you check out my new film that's coming out? It's called Dumb War, where me and my friends try to become MySpace. Also, I have a movie called Somewhere There, where we go to Saturn.
Sweet.
Goodbye, my cool cats and kittens.
And okay, thank you everybody for joining us tonight, for chatting along with us in the chat, for hanging out, talking, enjoying the trivia and what we had to say about Star Wars, and giving us the likes for me to have an excuse to watch the Clone Wars show. It means a lot. You guys are great, but Brock, you were always scum.
Yeah, that's true.
We want tonight. 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 We walk in the light, in the light, in the light, in the light, in the light.
I totally would like to do a live talk show. Dominic, that's a great idea. I could show you